Sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Welcome to the Buttery Mails podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake Demansky. We're starting out pretty fast this time for no reason.
No
With
reason.
us, as always, one of our other hosts, Jacob Boyer. Jacob, how are you doing today?
I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Jake. Also seated with me is another host of the podcast, Rob Morrissey. Rob, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a guest, by the way. Don't try to put that host shit on me. And parody. This is all parody. Parody warning,
parody.
just right off the bat, because I'm gonna say some wild shit tonight.
Yeah. There's gonna be some. This is gonna be a wild episode.
Oh, boy.
And we kind of needed to turn up the heat a little bit on this podcast because I've been getting messages that people have been saying we've been kind of boring as of lately, and they've been literally sending me emails saying spice it up the podcast, spice it up. I'm like, I don't know how to.
Who is telling you that?
Hit that podcast with some red pepper flakes, some Frank's
Hit
red,
it with the red
Frank's
pepper.
red sauce.
Literally, someone did email me that, saying that exactly.
Hit it with some
and they
Frank's
said,
Red Hot.
Said, yeah, too. But then they said I would ask some of these people. I'm like, we're trying our freaking hardest. I don't know what we can do to please you. And they were like, what about that Jake's review thing you did? You reviewed the Justin Bieber pre-rolls. That was a smash hit. We loved this. Over and over again, people were saying, review other things. This was awesome when you did that. So I thought, I could bring back the segment Jake Reviews. And
All right.
I thought, how do I make this exciting? What's a very exciting thing to review? It's from the store, just canned foods. So, I have a few items with me that are canned foods. And,
This is so rushed. This is ridiculous.
guys, we need this for the podcast. It's
All
kind
right.
of anyway, I just wanted I have a few items. It's gonna maybe be a bit to get through them, but I wanted to start with one of my favorite canned foods. It's a very popular one. Black beans. There's a few things going on with this. I just want to start off by saying I'm a huge fan of Goya black beans.
As we all
think-
are.
Yeah, I think Goya black beans are really good. There's a Chef's Best Award Excellence Award of 2021.
Rob's sanity is unraveling before our very eyes.
People like when we do this, and I just want to. Okay, sorry, I'm all over the place.
All right. Yeah.
I know this might be weird, but
Oh, wait. Huh?
wait,
Who
what's
just joined?
going on right now? Hello?
Hello? Buttery Mails podcast.
Oh my gosh, is this who I think it is?
I hear we're talking beans, big beautiful beans. I love beans.
Oh my gosh! Wait, you just heard that we were talking about beans, and you?
Oh,
came
beans
in?
are wonderful. Goya beans are my favorite, frankly. Those little Mexican jumping beans.
Guys, this is kind of incredible. Out of nowhere, the 45th president of the United States is still the 46th
Excuse me.
president.
47th, I will be president again.
Donald Trump has come by. Wow.
It's very
Donald,
nice to be here. Thank you for having me, boys. Sometimes I wish you'd change your name to the Margarine Mails, but frankly, it's okay. We'll live with Buttery.
There might be a rebrand coming up. We might consider that name. But wow.
That's incredible.
This is kind of. Go ahead, Jacob. Sorry, I don't. mean to cut you off.
I'm just in awe that we managed to get a former and future president on the show.
Well, I had a packed schedule. I had Sean Hannity once again tonight, and I said, Sean, tonight I need to devote more time to my margarine male friends. Okay.
You want to see us do better. You don't want us to be buttery. You want us to eat margarine to stay healthy. To stay
It's a
alive.
play on words. You guys are marginal. Okay.
All right. Okay, bud. Okay, just weirdly enough, I'm reviewing Goya black beans, and you come in here and you say you're a fan of beans. I don't know if you heard me talking about them or not, but what are your thoughts on this brand and the black beans in general, Mr. President?
Well, not necessarily the black beans, but the white beans are my favorite, frankly.
God damn.
I don't know if
A
I
little
want you
bit more
to
healthy for
elaborate. I wasn't there some drama between coincidentally wasn't there drama between you and the Goya brand? Is that
No, there was no drama. They supported me in 2020 in that rigged election, the terrible election the Democrats stole. It was terrible. We're so sick and tired of these leftist lunatics and them stealing elections. But yeah, we're talking beans. I'm sorry. Sorry, talking beans.
Let's keep it on topic, Donnie, for the sake of our listener. Because
So I just like Donnie. This is Jake Reviews. This is the segment. I don't want to hold you. I don't know if you just happen to have time stopping by, and that's why you came
I got
in.
this guy. I got this guy at my house. He's doing lighting right now, but he's not going in my closet. It's terrible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Interesting. That might be alluding to something later. I don't know, but
Oh. Huh.
what out of 5 Jakes? Like, hold on. Are you
5
familiar? Have you had black
Jakes.
beans? Have you had black beans?
I'm currently here in Mexico, and we have a lot of black beans. We eat them every day.
Okay, cool. I don't want to hold you much longer. I'm gonna have to get your ass out of here soon. But out of 5 Jakes, five Jakes being this canned food is really good. 1 Jake being this canned food isn't very good. What would you rate Goya black beans?
Like I said, I don't want to get specific on black beans, but I would give Goya as a brand a 5 out of 5 stars. They did a great job supporting me, and I love them a lot.
I mean 5 Jakes. 5 out of
5 Jakes.
Jakes.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah, I was like
I said
stars.
Jakes.
I don't know what stars are, but I know what Jakes are.
are you down in Mexico trying to like raise funds to keep building the wall? Like, what are you doing down in Mexico?
We're building
right
our
now?
big, beautiful base, our big conservative populist base. It's beautiful. I have Mexicans coming up to me every day saying, Senor Presidente, te gusto, te gusto.
Jesus Christ.
Gusto.
Okay, well. Is
These
there
aren't bad hombres. These are very good hombres.
Okay. Cool. Is there anything like coming up in your future? You want us to know. Maybe give us a little parting message before you go. Anything like that?
It's supposed to be on the lowdown, but look forward to this spring. Excuse me, I need a little bit of water. I will be on Dancing with the Stars. I'll be dancing with Nancy Grace. She's making a big, beautiful comeback. It's going to be tremendous.
Awesome. What is that going to be? Is that going to be on Fox Network?
We're putting it on the terrible NBC. I like to call them Concast. They're terrible.
Yeah, you don't like NBC and the people that work there.
What style of dances are you guys going to be doing?
I'm going to be doing a nice Roomba. It's going to be tremendous. You're going to have to just wait and see. That's all I'll tell you.
Very excited.
Follow me on
Very,
Getter
very
and Truth
exciting.
Social. I do a lot of posting, a lot of big covfefe posting.
I
It's
finally
great.
got on to Truth Social. After 4 months of waiting, I finally got in, and it's the shit. It's the greatest social media platform ever.
I will never go back to Twitter. I don't care if Rerun Musk makes something happen with it. I don't care. Truth Social is the future. And look out for more Trump posts on Truth Social. Gentlemen, it's been great. Have a good Buttery podcast, okay?
Thank you, President.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
President.
Thank you, Mr.
You're
Trump.
welcome.
Okay.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
Wow.
You heard it. You heard it here, folks. That Goya Black Beans gets 5 out of 5 Jakes, and that's my opinion too.
And
That's
a
high
presidential
praise.
endorsement, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a good canned food. 5 out of 5 Jakes. The next one I want to go to. Okay. So this is a pretty good one too, and I actually eat this with a lot of my dishes. No salt added. Cut green beans from giant grocery stores.
Now, is that
This-
specifically you will only do no salt added?
Well, I thought this was rare because it's
Okay.
like I've never seen that.
It's like a special edition can.
It's like basically a holographic card, like a Pokemon card. Like when you see the no salt added, you're like, in 10 years that's gonna be like $50, 60. And what I like to do with these is, like I said, like I'll make mashed potatoes. I'll do rice, and these will be on the side.
You'll make mashed
With
potatoes out of your green beans.
I meant with the green
Okay.
beans, guys. But no, seriously, these are really good. And what's really interesting about them is there's 2 servings per can. It's 15 calories per serving. And boy, are these really good. What are your experiences with cut green beans, just in general, guys?
Well, I mean, I don't usually have them out of a can, but I gotta say, I think most of my experiences with them have been good. I'd probably give it a
Okay, that's
solid
good.
2.5,
about
3
you?
Jakes.
I prefer the salt added ones actually.
You like the brine? That it
I like
sits in?
brine. I like a,
'Cause
br-
this
a
is
nice
just water. The ingredients
yeah.
are green beans.
No, I
and
like
water.
I like a nice brine, because it's like
But do you guys?
you've got the
you guys-
no added salt, and then you step it up with adding like a lot of salt.
Right.
Now
Okay,
Now,
I
do
will
you do the
oh, go ahead.
brine? Do you drink the brine first, or do you eat the
Oh,
beans
oh,
first?
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Something just happened. Hello?
We have
Oh,
another
no.
guest.
Excuse me. Hello. Who is? Someone just entered the call.
Yeah,
I'm
who
not
is
sure
this?
who this is.
We got a lot of guests
Hello?
today.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
Jake, is that you?
Yeah. Oh
Like
my.
Paisan, how you doing?
Oh my gosh, guys.
You know
This
me.
is-
This is Tony Bartolucci.
This is Tony Guadalupe, everyone. Oh my God, this is the #1 indoor-outdoor lighting specialist in the United States, or was it the world, Tony Bartolucci?
I didn't quite get that prestige level yet. I do the Tri-County and Tri-State area. It's the
Oh,
areas
much
that-
smaller than what I thought. Oh shit.
You know, I try. We get the name out there.
We get the name out there.
how long have you
Tony,
been doing
Hey,
that?
listen,
Like how
indoor
long
outdoor
have-
lighting. You need it, I do it.
What
Tony.
what
20 some odd years.
20 something odd years?
Tony, what are you doing
So basic-
here, man?
I heard. My friend Jake, he was one of my first clients. Excuse me, I'm on the road right now,
Okay.
in between jobs,
Between
trying to get
jobs.
shit done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're a hard worker from what I
Oh,
know.
absolutely. Listen, I don't do closets though. I absolutely don't do closets.
You're-
I can do pool lighting if it's outdoors. If you have an indoor pool, not really there yet.
So you just happened to drop by here? What was going on? Like a small podcast?
Well,
like
listen,
us?
I wanted to let you know. I wanted to call in just because I know you're busy. I'm busy. We got to talk what we got to talk. Listen, that lead you gave me, fantastic job. I did an entire patio outside. She didn't pay me yet, so it's okay. We're gonna figure that out.
Okay.
But the lady, she was incredible.
She was incredible. Like in how? Like what way?
Really nice, down to earth. Fed me a lot. Still hasn't paid me, so I'm kind of on the fence about that. But, it'd be nice to get money for it.
Honey, was she hot?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I'm trying to be polite about it, but she was a fucking boom. Oh my god.
How much does she owe you for this patio job?
I think I ballparked it around like 1,700. But I mean, if you really subtract all the sandwiches,
I was gonna say that was my next question. Was gonna be how much in food did you get from her?
I feel like with the food alone, we probably cut the cost in half. I'm gonna at least try to cook the material.
That's
I eat a lot of sandwiches on the job. It's what I do. I always like to have a sandwich in my hand, a screwdriver in the other for doing outlets and lighting. You gotta keep the energy
for
going
that.
when you're just working.
Yeah, for sure.
and honestly, it works because I've seen Tony do work. Like I said, or like he said, I was one of his first customers, which I actually didn't know. I just knew I was one of them, and I had this problem in my backyard with the lights where, like, I'd go to flick on the switch, like half of my lights would turn on, and I go to flick that same switch to flick those off, then the other half turn on and the ones before turn off. So like, I'm running through fucking, indoor outdoor lighting specialists, and they're like, sorry, there's nothing we can do to help you. And Tony I call him as a second opinion practically. I'm like, I don't know, there's this problem. They're telling me they can't fix it. Could you just take a look? And I'm scared as he's looking around. He's got his sandwich in his hand, screwdriver in the other hand, and he takes a bite of his screwdriver by accident. And he goes, ow. But then you looked at me and you went, this is so easy.
Some dental work after that. Yeah, actually, I remember you would take that. I said, yeah, I could do that. I always do free estimates. And as a surprise for me, I came back at about 2:30 in the morning when Jake was sleeping. I fixed everything. The next day, I said, go turn on your lights, and boom, it was done.
It was like,
that's how you win your clients. You just do the work. And you just come and do the work and go, look, I did a great job. Yeah. Don't you want to hire me?
I trusted him so much. I gave him a house key, like, because I was like, the vibes on this guy is, I mean, and his reputation,
I do replace the lunch meat when I eat it too, so there is that.
That is a whole other thing, yeah, and I love that because you ran through my lunch meat. But Tony, I'm talking green beans here, and right? We're talking canned food, and specifically, I've cut green beans, no salt added. Now, are you familiar with this product at all? Have you ever had something like this before?
Listen, I tell you what, when I can't get a sandwich, when I'm not in the vicinity of a sandwich, I do always look to canned goods, and particularly I like to get my protein in lima beans and green beans. So I'm a big fan. I don't like the juices in it, but if I'm thirsty and I don't have water nearby, to get your hydration.
You drink the brine in the can.
I was gonna say, yeah, because
sometimes you get thirsty.
Yeah, that's what I was saying right before you came on, Tony. Was are you the kind of person who does the brine first or the beans first? I'm a kind of a brine first kind of guy.
I like to get a good sense of the flavor. If you swish around the brine, and then you're gonna know if you're gonna have some mushy beans or not.
The brine it's like a palate cleanser. You don't want your beans mixing with all those sandwiches you've been eating.
Exactly.
And you never know. You get tired of it, throw in a casserole, boom, green bean casserole. It's done. I don't know what else goes with it. I just heat them up.
Yeah, waste
hot
not
beans, cold beans.
I love it. Tony, since it turns out you're really familiar with these. You drink the brine if you don't have water. So
what are you using? The Jelly Green Giant one?
Actually, these are Giant brand, but there is like a little. It says quality and trust 100% guarantee on the side. That's kind of what sold me on the whole thing. I was like, okay, this has a seal of approval. But
did it remind
out of
you
5
of...
Jakes, 5 being this is an amazing canned food, 1 Jake being this canned food isn't for me. What would you rate the Giant brand, no salt added, cut green beans?
See, myself, I'm more of an Aldi's guy, but when I do go to Giant, when I'm in the area, I do always pick up about 3 to 4 dozen cans of the unsalted green beans. So I'm going to put that at a 4.5.
4.5 Jakes for this. Oh my god.
In particular, really I love green beans in general.
What does the side of the can say again, Jake? 100%.
As quality and trust 100% guaranteed.
Kind of like that's kind of like
I like that.
That sounds like the service you provide, Tony, is 100% trustworthy.
Listen,
yeah.
You're nailing it right on the head there. That's exactly what I like to tell my customers. Even if they catch me eating out of a can of beans, they say, "Whoa, why'd I hire this guy?" I say, "Listen, I'm guaranteed."
I'm guaranteed. It's like Thanos saying, "I'm inevitable."
I am inevitable. I'm guaranteed.
Yeah, Tony Bottalucci, they call him the Thanos of the indoor-outdoor lighting. Snap and shit be working out.
Snap.
Tony, I don't want to hold you up. You said you're going, from job to job. You're in between jobs. Is there anything you want to say before I get you out of here? I know you're busy.
I will say, if you're in the market for some indoor-outdoor lighting, don't hesitate to call me. I'm a busy guy, but I work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Holy shit!
Not really. I gotta sleep sometimes, maybe on the job, but who's to say, But listen, if you need lighting, call me up. And I'm at a Wawa right now, about to go get myself some beef brisket mac and cheese. It's gonna be a good time.
Right. Well, hey, enjoy that mac and cheese. If I ever have you over for a job, I'll pay you so you can sleep. Sounds like you're working too much. But thank you so much for coming by, Tony. Have a good night then. Thanks for reviewing.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Tony.
Good night.
Bye. Wow. Okay, so
Incredible
that's
night.
Oh my
that's
God.
a real American right there. You know,
Yeah.
works 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Get four and a half Jakes for this and a green beans. And I kind of want to move on to my my final item to review.
All right.
This is one it's like people are very 50-50 on this. Some people love this. Some people truly fucking hate this thing. And you'll see as soon as I hold it up.
Oh,
Spam.
Yeah, that's a mixed bag.
Spam.
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Now, what's anyone have experiences with spam here?
Only one, and it wasn't very good. I'd give it maybe one Jake out of 5.
One Jake? Really?
Spam is not for me. One Jake.
What happened that the spam got only one Jake? How was it prepared?
My grandma was killed by a spam truck.
A can of spam.
Oh!
He's like, I loved how it tasted. Actually, like, I really do like how spam tastes, but it's hard when you watch a can of spam kill your grandmother.
I tried it once. It wasn't for me. I just did not like the taste of it. one Jake out of 5. I don't know what else to say. It was a long time ago, so maybe I didn't give it a fair chance. Maybe it's worth another review. Yeah.
On the side of it, it says U.S. inspected and passed by Department of Agriculture. Are you just gonna say no to that? I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Are you saying those guys are wrong?
Yeah.
The homegrown spam. Am I questioning the people in the agriculture community on?
Yeah, defend yourself.
What's going on here?
The trees in which they grow their spam for my consumption. I don't know. There's pleny of things.
Spam trees would be disgusting.
Yeah, that sounds like shit. You're right. But okay, Rob, have you ever had any experience with this product?
I have.
Food?
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I don't have a lot. I could cite 2 very specific instances. One time I did just, the very Hawaiian lunch type deal where you cut it into kind of sheets and then
oh my gosh. What is going on right now? Hello, who is this?
Sheesh, this is Dr. Spin. I heard you guys were talking spam, so I'm here.
God damn it. This is too well put together. I fucking hate this.
What do you mean? These people
I
are
realized
just
we were
coming
doing
in.
webcams. I had to disable my webcam to install my microphone, but I heard there was a canned food segment going on, and I've lived a life of canned food before, so what's up?
This is unbelievable. Dr. Spin is in the house now. This is, oh my god. So you just heard we were talking about spam and you hopped in here like this?
Oh, absolutely. When you're spamming, I'm spamming, everything's spamming. It's the internet.
Oh, Jesus,
I
agree.
I agree, Dr. Spin. So, are you familiar with this spam product, Dr. Spin? Have you had it? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I live a lifestyle where at one point when I was very young, my dad was like, yo, I lived off this shit, so I'll give you a little bit of cash for all the pieces that you'll eat. And I'll be honest, I never collected on the cash because spam's fucking good. I've heard people put it on everything, and I can't blame them.
I'm one of those people who puts it on pretty much everything. I put spam on top of spam, and I get to eating it basically. But
Good God!
I just, besides the spam talk, Dr. Spin, what is going on? What have you been up to? Has there been any new updates in possible Ukraine news or anything like that? You feel like shit? For anyone who doesn't know, Dr. Spin is a legendary guest on the Buttery Mails. He has just stopped by. Those other two guys.
He's the ghost of Kiev. He's the real ghost of Kiev. That's what people don't know.
I'm not that good in the air. I get a little too high and then I get lost in the clouds. You feel me?
Hey, 420, brother. Okay.
Not much to update on Ukraine. Personally, I'm waiting to see if the Modern War Institute releases a podcast on underground warfare focused on the Mariupol steel plant that the Ukrainians have held for, well, indefinitely so far. But that's getting a little too in depth. Let's go back to the canned food, you know?
That's why we're all here. I mean,
that's why we're all here.
Yeah, it's true. So I've been kind of like asking, you know, it's kind of a thing I do. I ask guests like 1 out of 5 Jakes. 5 Jakes being like, this was a great canned food. 1 Jake being, I don't like this canned food at all. When it comes to Spam, Dr. Spin, what would you give it out of 5 Jakes? What would you give it?
Oh, 5 Jakes on 5 Jakes. You put Spam on Spam.
Oh my gosh. This is unprecedented. I fully agree, and you know, that's pretty much it.
Word. Well, I'm glad that I could be the Spam.
Thank you so much, Dr. Spin, for coming by. This is
thank you so much.
Just kind of incredible. Is there anything you want to say before we get you out of here? I know you're very busy, and I don't want to hold you up. Is there anything you want to say as a final comment, either on Spam or anything in general?
On Spam, I don't know the details, but I've heard that there are versions of Hawaiian pizza where instead of ham, they do Spam and pineapple, because apparently Spam was a staple of Hawaiian foods for a little bit after, I think, World War II. So I'm just curious.
That was what I was gonna get at before you spammed me in the podcast.
I am a pop-up.
Yeah, I am a living pop-up.
I'm a pop-up.
I have to try that pizza that way, because that sounds so good. I love the whole Spam pineapple combo.
Spam on those Hawaiian sweet rolls is fucking killer, real.
Very good.
Oh, I could see it. I've got a couple Hawaiian sweet rolls in my little bread cabinet, but I don't have any pineapple to put with it, so I'll have to check that out.
No, the Buttery Mails, we will send you pineapple and Spam and more Hawaiian sweet rolls. We'll do that.
Canned pineapple. We'll send him canned pineapple. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because the pineapple I envision you guys sent me, I wouldn't want to identify the liquids that came in the open hole. I was a little worried about that just for a second.
Yeah. We'll take whatever pineapple you get. But all right, thanks.
You're not wrong.
Thanks, Dr. Spin. Yeah. Thanks for coming by. Have a good one then.
Yeah, enjoy the salty taste of Spam. Have a good one, guys. Good luck.
See ya. Wow. Okay. So
what a cavalcade of guests we've had tonight. This might be our
the stars have come out tonight.
Special episode for real.
So that was Jake Reviews, and I have to agree with Dr. Spin on the final canned food review. 5 Jakes, very good. And that was Jake Reviews. So we can move on then to our next segment. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that was that was a very, very excellent installment of Jake Reviews.
It was incredible, for real. That was amazing.
I was not expecting to have such a wide variety of guests also give their opinion on canned foods. Just the other day, I was wondering, what does Donald Trump think about Goya black beans? And now I know. And Jake's reviews...
That's the question that's been on everyone's mind since he left office. Exactly. I mean...
I've just needed to know, and now I know.
It's weird that, us just being in this private Discord talking about, canned foods caught somehow the ears of these... different, very talented, very powerful people, all of them in their own right. And
you should think about joining the Buttery Mails Discord, because we are constantly, we have a ton of very interesting people in here. Yeah.
It's nuts what can happen. All
right. On to our next topic. Microplastics. Are they actually good for you? And is the government lying about how good they are for you. What do you guys think?
You mentioned something a little beforehand in the Discord.
I'm starting to come around on microplastics. Actually, everyone's all like hopped up and worried. Oh, microplastics are killing off testosterone in young males. Microplastics are going to give us all cancer. I think microplastics are actually going to start strengthening humans as a whole.
How?
Plastic is one of the strongest substances known to man. I mean, we make everything out of plastics. Let me ask you something. If you were to go to your parents' home right now, you know, your old boomer ass parents, or you're just on the cusp Gen Xer parents, and you open the top drawer of any drawer in the house, right? What are you gonna find?
Plastics, microplastics.
You're gonna find microplastics. You're probably gonna find some like Donald Trump greeting cards, some like Blue Lives Matter donation slips that they used on their taxes. But what you're gonna find is plastic everywhere. Okay,
true, actually, yeah.
Just every drawer in every American's house over the age of 35 is just filled with remotes. I can't even.
Okay.
The amount of remotes in this country outnumber the amount of people. Now
that's actually true. There's one right next to me right now.
That's math. That's just math. You can't listen. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a very smart man, okay? And there's one thing he always says: you cannot argue with math. And I don't know how you could argue with the fact that there's more plastic in the world than there are humans. Why are we avoiding the plastic? Why are we trying to avoid what is ultimately the next step in human evolution, which is becoming plastic?
Is this your argument or Neil deGrasse Tyson's argument?
This is my argument. I don't know what he thinks.
It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson sounds unhinged.
I don't know what his argument is on plastics. But if I was a gambling man, which I am, I would say he's probably up on plastics. All right. You got all these people buying like $15 green juices every day from Starbucks and wherever you buy. I don't buy green juices. You know what I buy? I buy plastic every day.
You buy liquid plastic.
I buy more plastic than I buy vegetables, all right? You understand, you can't avoid the plastic. The plastic is the next thing for humans. And what is going to survive? Like, what has a higher probability of surviving a nuclear apocalypse? You, an organic fleshy meat bag, or the plastic Samsung remote that's been in your mom's drawer since the 1980s, okay? Think about that. Really think about that.
Samsung around back then, I don't know, but
Sony,
yeah,
I don't know who you see, I got so much plastic, I don't even know who's making it. Like it could be.
You're right.
There's a microplastic factory in Rob's apartment.
Plastically. But what do you suggest we do? Do I like melt down plastic? Do I cover myself in a suit of plastic armor, or do I have to like further integrate it genetically into my
Here's the thing. A lot of people have been experimenting with microdosing recently, like microdosing like psilocybin from mushrooms.
Yeah.
And you want to treat plastic the same way you treat microdosing psilocybin. You want to take one of those remotes and you want to put it in a coffee grinder or a blender and blend it down to as fine a powder as you can. Because when you're melting it, when that cools off, you're not going to have like a liquid you can drink. You're just going to have solid plastic. But if you shave that down, if you grind it down, like I have an industrial sized coffee bean grinder, okay? It's the largest appliance in my kitchen, 100% plastic, okay? Like
how big is this thing? How big are we talking here?
How big is an oil drum?
Oh shit!
So when I like
is taking up space in the kitchen.
Approximately one oil drum.
As far as I'm concerned, this thing is my kitchen. Okay, I don't know why I would need any other appliances after I bought this. So
you want the steak in the plastic grinder? What? I'm in the kitchen.
So, you wanna. What I like to do is I like to get those like big 5,500 milligram vegetable capsules. I like to blend down like 2 or 3 TV remotes, maybe a Transformers action figure, and then once you have like a nice thick powder, and when you open up the grinder, the industrial strength grinder, you want to like take a big deep breath of the fumes that come off of that, because that's all wasted plastic. That's all plastic you could have in your system. And
I'm with you.
You fill up a couple of those pills. You want to take about 5 of those pills every hour to keep the plastic. Because you think about like bodybuilders who use creatine or steroids. You take one thing of creatine or steroids for a couple days. It's not really going to do anything right away. You got to build that up in your system. And so the more microplastics you can get in your body, the better. And, the government is lying to you, okay? You can shit out those plastics, all right? Like, you'll secrete the plastic out through your bowels and through sweat glands and your teardrops. And so you need to have a revolving door of plastics in your system at all times.
24/7, plastic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like to, when I get home from a workout, I like to do like protein powder, muscle milk, and a Sony remote from 1983. Yeah.
So bodybuilders are like kind of going the wrong direction. You're saying, like with the I know you're saying I do the creatine, I do the high dosage of tea because you need it. What about? So you're saying just skip all that, or still do that but then add the plastic?
I'm saying
it's inevitable. This is your argument.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying like, think about the composition of a human body. It's all meat and tendons and liquids, right? But
I just thought about it. Yeah.
That stuff is all very weak. That stuff is all like, your body will betray you. Okay, you can't rely on what God gave you unless you're talking about plastics, all right? And now
blasphemy, but continue.
The more plastic you have in your muscles, I mean, there are those guys who inject oils, like synthol oils, into their muscles. What they should be focusing on getting microplastics in their bodies if they want big, ripply muscles.
Right. Obviously.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Joe Rogan won't tell you this, okay? I am the truthsayer. I am the one who knocks, all right? And you need to focus in on microplastics. Do you know how cheap plastic is? Like right now, everyone's talking about stacking wealth, stacking cryptocurrency, silver and gold. I'm talking about stacking plastic because eventually. It's a finite resource, and once all the plastic has been consumed into the human population and absorbed into our bodies, who are going to be the people in charge? Like, who will be the next Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, right? It's not going to be the guy who's been spending all his money on $15 green juices and like 150 bottles of testosterone made in a bathtub. It's going to be the guy who's been collecting old telephones from the 1970s, when telephones were telephones, okay, and it wasn't something you watched porn on.
Take me back. I'm sick of these telephones with porn on them.
It's crazy.
It's like when I go to the bar and they like overserve me, it's like it's not my fault. Like you're serving me the alcohol, you're overserving me. Same thing.
You're supposed to stop me.
Phones. Don't put so much porn on the internet, and then I won't be tempted to search for it. Come on.
Apple should be limiting. There should be a limiter on iPhones that either limits the amount of porn you have access to, or like pixelates it, right? Makes it harder to see.
Injects you with a drug that makes you like totally pacified, so you're not even capable of using your phone for porn.
We need more fluoride. Don't even get me started on fluoride, okay? There isn't enough fluoride in the water right now. And everyone's like, oh, don't drink the water. Don't drink the water. There's fluoride in it. It'll turn you into a zombie. If you think that, you're the zombie, okay? There isn't enough fluoride in the world, okay? We need to be focusing on developing, nanobot structured plastic factories.
Yes,
Fully automated with Tesla drones and Jeff Bezos. Like,
yeah. He says what I'm too scared to think.
I am the truth, okay? I am the truth.com. You cannot argue with me.
You're on the Truth app, aren't you?
I am.
Finally,
I am.
after 4 long months.
It took It took fucking forever. It was the longest. I've never waited for something so intently in my life. Okay.
Did you just find out by
Like Christmas,
being like,
yeah.
oh well, might as well check, or were you like, did you get like a notification saying?
I just checked. I just kept checking every single fucking day. I would check by the hour sometimes just to see like. And there was a while where I was like, what am I not doing? Okay, like what do I need to sign up to, like, alt-right newsletters? Do I need to get like double eights tattooed on my body? Like, what do I need to do to get on thetruth.com right now?
Jacob, what do you think about all the plastic talk Rob was saying? Is he okay?
Funny enough, I had a conversation with some friends in another Discord last night where someone was arguing like, well, how long would it take to digest plastic? And we had a person who had a biology degree in that discussion being like, you can't digest plastic. It's just not.
You don't want to. You don't want to digest the plastic. You want to keep it in your body.
Well, that's what I was saying. My point was like we already have microplastics in like everything we eat anyway, and that's just staying in there, and we haven't seen any negative side effects of that so far. So
true.
They
it's got to be good.
They aren't even charging.
Yeah.
When you go to McDonald's, they haven't even worked the microplastics into the price yet. So if you go and you try very carefully to, buy the right things like McDonald's and Burger King, and you stay away from places like Whole Foods and, organic farms and shit, you stick with the capitalist machine, you can get free plastic in your body. Like it's they don't even factor it in. They're not even selling you the plastic. They're selling it's like if you bought a new car and there was also like 800 pounds of gold in the trunk and they didn't even charge you for it. You just spent $8,500 on like a 2011 Acura TSX and you just found 800 pounds of gold weighing the car down. You bought the car thinking, oh, this car's got like a lowered suspension kit, like some cool guy, this is a project car. It's 800 pounds of gold bullion in your
didn't
trunk.
check the trunk yet.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So what do you suggest we do? Do we just kind of maintain, just kind of go down the same path, being like a biological plastic bank, or do we have a machine that can extract the plastics from us? Or do we not want that?
You don't want it out of your body. That's the thing.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
I recommend limiting your bowel movements to once a day. So, you don't want to be
toxic shock and stuff like that.
Don't worry about it. It's fake.
Don't even think about it.
You
like allergies, it's just psychosomatic.
It's totally fake, okay? I have a peanut allergy, all right? I eat peanuts all the time, okay? And I just keep the EpiPen on me. I don't even think the EpiPen is going to do anything. Like
you said you keep it on you, but you meant you just keep the EpiPen in you at all times when you're eating the peanuts. Is that what you meant?
EpiPens are a great source of plastic. Also blendable, totally, undigestible, right? And I'm convinced that if I ate a bunch of peanuts and I felt like a little tickle in my throat and I used the EpiPen, it would cause anaphylactic shock. It's not the peanuts. The EpiPen is what's doing that to you.
It's like, God, the fucking FDA is trying to get us all, like, this whole...
Trust no one, okay? Thing. Trust only Goya brand black beans.
Yes,
and
just shout out to Goya. Thank you so much.
Shout out to Goya. And any company that is trafficking and selling you plastic right now is a company to be trusted, okay? Because do not let the hippie leftist media turn you against plastic. This is an inevitability. This is the next step in human evolution. You know, you got that picture
trying
of
to hold you back from your full potential.
exactly.
What you're saying. Okay, got
Yep.
it. I'm with you. I didn't know about any of this till you started talking about it, but you are so passionate. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm on the bandwagon.
I'm on board, yeah.
Give me the microplastics.
Your joints will break down, okay? But you know what won't? The little G.I. Joe action figures your parents
That I can
your
put
parents
into the
played
spots
with.
of my
Yeah,
joints.
exactly.
I mean, yeah, eventually maybe your arm will pop off like an action figure's arm, but whatever, you can just stick it right back in.
You can put
It's
it right back
fine.
on.
Yeah.
This is the truth behind the microplastics movement, and I am just trying to do my part as a conscious citizen. I don't want people to miss out on, you know, there are people who back in 2010, 2011 were trying to tell you about cryptocurrency and you didn't buy it, okay? You didn't buy Bitcoin. Now you're trying to buy Bitcoin while it's at all-time high prices, okay? You're fucked. You're never going to be ultra wealthy. But the thing no one is talking about is the intrinsic value of plastic.
Right. This is like, okay, I need to buy all the plastic I can right now. I need to get it into my body as much as I can. This is totally not the ramblings of a madman. This is good. This is good. This is good.
Listen, I've never been more clear-headed at any other point in my life. And it's because I have so much plastic in my head, okay? I don't have those yucky chemicals like dopamine and neuroreceptors bothering me anymore. It's all straight plastic.
That's like you said, going back to earlier what you said, all that stuff, that dopamine, all that shit, that stuff God gave you, and like you said it, your body's gonna betray you because God gave it to you. What does that mean? I don't want to say any further because it's all blasphemy, but I think
what
you
did God do?
Clear point.
What did God do? He sent his son to do his job for him, okay? Can you really trust a man who can't get out of fucking bed and go to work every day? He sends his son out there to do estimates for indoor outdoor lighting on his behalf? Are you shitting me right now?
Oh my God.
As we all know.
God's first son was actually Tony Bottalucci, and we had him on the podcast just moments ago.
These are the things Joe Rogan and the government will not tell you, okay?
And I looked at Joe Rogan like so much and so high, like I hold him in such high regard, and the fact that he's not saying this stuff to me, like, are you betraying me now too? What the fuck is
He's a
going on?
liar, okay? That's what like people don't want to accept is like Joe Rogan and the Spotify Corporation, they are trying to outpace you in terms of plastic consumption, all right? They're all plastic NPC people in that building, okay? Like, when Joe Rogan...
I had an inkling that might be happening.
When Joe Rogan flies up to Seattle once a week to pick up his paycheck from Spotify, they pay him with a plastic check, like a giant Lego, okay? Like...
What, you're telling me he eats that thing right on the spot?
What else is he gonna do with it? The value is in eating it, okay?
Money doesn't mean anything to Joe Rogan anymore. You're right. It doesn't. At this point,
listen, your credit score, your social equity, all of these things are fake. They are unimportant. Disregard them. Do not focus on those things.
Fuck, you're kind of like saying what I... scared to say.
If you have one of those phone apps that sends you like a push notification when your credit score goes up and down, you're a fucking NPC. You're an idiot. You're not a real person.
Oh my God. Wow. That's something to consider, I guess.
What do you guys think Amber Heard's turd smelled like?
You want me to say plastic? Like, what am I supposed to say?
I didn't even think about that. See, you're getting it. Now you're understanding, okay? Like this is what we need. We need people to start thinking in terms of plastic. Stop thinking within these ideological fallacies that we've built up around us to protect ourselves from the animal kingdom. All of these animals out there who are eating plastic bags and getting six-pack rings stuck around their mouths, turtles with plastic straws in their noses. You think that they're in pain? You're wrong.
No. From what I learned is like from this conversation is that turtle has a six-pack ring around its neck. That's getting a fucking six-pack ring around its abs.
Exactly.
You know how
plastic.
People say we need to clean up the ocean, right? Like we need to clean up the garbage islands. There's so much plastic in the sea. I agree with you that we need to clean up the oceans because it's
going
valuable
out there. It's just sitting out there. Yeah.
It's like it's like sunken treasure, except it floats on the surface. It's even easier to secure than it would be to go out and try to salvage an ancient pirate ship. Okay.
Okay.
I'm in.
Okay.
Let's go now.
To go back before, I would have guessed maybe Amber Heard's turds, what they would smell like. But when I said plastic, I don't know. I that wasn't my first thought until you brought all that up. I was thinking, I don't know, women's butts, they smell different than men's. Sometimes it's like, that's a nice smell. Sometimes it's not. I don't know. What do you think, Jacob? What do you think Amber Heard's turd smells like?
Whatever Johnny Depp's bed smells like, I guess.
Oh!
I don't know.
This has been a really crazy ride.
This is up there with like one of our more nutso episodes right now.
Yeah.
I'm off the chain. We had Donald Trump, Tony Bottalucci, and Dr. Spin in here. Like, come on.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Do we have another segment?
I have a quick thing that I meant to mention last time as an update to a segment we did a while ago, but we never got around to it. It's just anyone who remembers the From Bad to Worse that we did on artesian builds and the whole drama with Kia Pia, there's just a small little update to that. As of April 27th, Artesian Builds officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is actually not as bad as I thought when I read that. Apparently that's just reorganization. That's not officially shutting down.
You get to keep the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so
they're not, that's, my theory was that they were, the reorganization is going to happen when the current CEO, what's his name, Noah Katz?
Noah Katz.
He's just going to sell the company to his mom. Like, that's what's going to happen. He's gonna pull like a Musk family trade secret and like give the company to someone else in his family and continue to run it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's a piece of shit.
There's as of now, I don't think there's any new updates. Let's check it out. Or their Twitter, I don't think has posted anything since they were like, hey, we're shutting down for now. Yeah, they haven't posted anything since March 8th, it looks like. But Kia Pia continues to thrive. She's actually, as we're recording this, she's live on Twitch right now with about 50 people watching her. I don't know if it's like a scheduled stream or just like hanging out, but it's still nothing to scoff at, sitting around 32,000 followers overall.
Just got started. The stream probably just started. It was unannounced. 50 people in the first second to join. She's amazing.
Yeah, and she is also let's see. And then the only other thing to add to that is that she is currently sponsored by a different tech PC company called Cooler Master. So about triple the followers that Artesian Builds had. So and probably triple the quality of CEO than Artesian Builds had.
Probably better plastics in their computers.
Probably better plastics in their computers, exactly.
Reinforced plastics. Because if you look at plastics on the molecular level, there are regular plastics and there are reinforced plastics, compressed plastics. Plastics that, you think about like, there's different kinds of creatine, there's different kinds of steroids, right? There's different kinds of plastics too, because it's basically a healthcare supplement.
Okay. So I just looked at Kia Pia on Twitch, and I think you're right, Rob. She's had a lot of plastic kind of like in and around her because she looks like one of the Borg from Star Trek. Looks like she's thriving.
This is human evolution. This is just the next step. You know, we went from being like bags of meat on the sea to standing up to walking to running to sitting in office buildings, and one day we won't be able to sit unless we stand in front of a 500-degree heating mechanism to reshape our bodies to contort to a chair.
What a hellish image, but so funny to think like that's our peak, form. It's like we still need this machine.
You may not like it, but this is the peak of human evolution.
Like when you have to
What ends like
when you have to like grip a tool with your hand. Yeah. Like when you need to sit down to take a shit, or you need to hold like a hammer. You're like, when you have to hold a hammer, you have to get like a heat torch and melt your hand around the hammer.
And then do the same thing again to release it later.
Yeah, this sounds.
But here's my question
good.
to you: is that how do you grip the heat torch?
Oh my god.
So on the same way that Hasidic Jews on Sabbath will hire Gentiles to operate the electronics in their homes, there will be a subsect of
actually.
there will be a subsect of human beings that are not allowed to intake plastics at the same rate as the rest.
Not allowed to transcend.
Exactly.
But what's to stop them from overthrowing us if that's the case? Because they're not sacrificing their movement at all.
Did our plastic armor, which makes us indestructible, and they're helpless?
I mean, listen.
If we are leaning on them to do basic tasks, what's to stop them from saying, you know what? No, we're the superior class because we're not fucking Barbie dolls.
That's not how evolution works, Jacob, okay? Like, you don't go backwards to go forwards, okay? You have to go forward, all right? And this subsect of humans, they're not going to want to overthrow us, okay? How are you going to overthrow the American Congress if you can't get them out of their seats?
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you overthrow a democracy if the people in charge of the democracy physically cannot be moved?
But you're saying that these subset of humans heat us up. They just heat us up and then shove us out of the chairs.
I'm sorry. You're acting as if these people will have any real control over what their wants and desires are. We'll be living in a world of plastics. It's like when a spider comes into your house and you are gracing that spider with the ability to hunt flies in your home, okay?
I get what you're saying. Like, we're sacred at this point around.
Yeah, the spider knows that it cannot harm you. It's merely an annoyance, right? Because most spiders, the worst part about spiders are the webs. Okay, we all know that the worst thing a spider can do to you is shoot you with their web. And that's why Spider-Man is such an ineffective superhero.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is literally the weakest superhero of all superheroes, okay? There are superheroes that all they can do is run fast. And they are superior to Spider-Man.
Wait, is Nick Fury not a superhero, or is he just like a superhero producer?
He's a plastic man.
He's a plastic
man. Okay. All right.
Even more powerful than Iron Man.
This has been very interesting.
It's been very, very interesting. One other thing that I want to just quickly throw out there, because while I was on Twitter looking all this up, I saw an interesting tweet exchange that I want to share with you guys. Okay. Yesterday, on May 8th, Elon Musk tweeted out, "If I die under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing you."
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
If I die under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing you.
And then Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast replied to that saying, "If that happens, can I have Twitter?" And
the two strongest human beings, the two human beings with the most power in our society right now.
And then Elon Musk replied to
God.
that. Elon Musk replied to that offer saying, "Okay." Just
Wow, this sucks.
We're watching
Before, but fuck.
we're watching peak human evolution take hold right in front of our eyes.
These are the two plastic individuals.
Imagine what happens when Mr. Beast is in control of Tesla, in control of Twitter, SpaceX, Starlink, the country of Ukraine, because that's what we're heading towards. The next thing Elon Musk is going to buy, mark my words, is the country of Ukraine.
That would be historic. Would be
historic.
truly. Wouldn't know what that would mean. I didn't think you could purchase countries like that.
Listen,
Has
Ukraine
anyone ever? Let's see. Has anyone ever?
Ukraine has gained a lot of value right now, and you have to think about it economically.
Yeah.
Let's say you have like a 10-acre plot of land in the middle of Ukraine, maybe outside of one of the major cities, right? 10 acres. And maybe you have some agriculture, maybe you have a couple buildings, a house, standard stuff. That is all that is a small amount of wealth, right? What happens when a $50 million Russian jet crashes on your 10-acre property that's valued at like $2 million USD? Now your land is worth $52 million USD, okay?
Why is that?
Well, what happens when you build something on, like, my brother, for instance, he owns a home, right? Yeah. He bought the home for a certain amount of money. Let's call it 200 grand. He bought the house for 200 grand 5 years ago. He added a deck. He added a pool. He added trees. You're building on your land, okay? That's all added value. So you take a $50 million Russian jet and you put it on your land.
Is it still worth $50 million after it's crashed?
You add it in to the value of the land.
You just... So this is just, you just say it to somebody. Oh yeah, $50 million jet crash in the place, so you might want to add just $50 million onto, the for sale sign when I'm selling my property.
I mean...
They're like, is the jet still there? No, the government took it.
That's what people don't realize about this, like, Russian-Ukraine war, is that Russia is... They're not winning. They're just dumping wealth into the hands of the Ukrainian people, okay?
Okay, yeah. So you're saying, like, a person who, like, I guess, naturally you would consider maybe priceless. It depends on what type of person you are. There's a person...
Humans are worth less than $100, just for the record.
So, and they get shot with, like, 100 rounds from, like, an AR-15. The cost of the bullet is, like, practically $1.
Yeah.
They're, like, worth $200 now.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I just looked it up. Apparently, recently, we should have asked him about this while he was just on the podcast. But
No way. Tony Bottalucci bought a country.
Apparently, in 2019.
That's what hard work. That's what hard work gets you. 24/7. Indoor outdoor lighting.
Very good.
Apparently, in 2019, Donald Trump was seriously considering buying Greenland from Denmark.
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
I did not know about that.
What?
That would have been
it doesn't say a number, but I will say this, is that in 1946, Truman tried to buy Greenland from Denmark for
the fuck is in Greenland?
A bunch of ice.
Donald Trump is a real estate genius. He's a real estate genius, and no one gives him the credit he deserves, okay?
Truman
tried
to buy...
I'm best friends with the guy, but, like, it's only because we like black
beans,
together.
yeah.
You share a common interest.
In 1917, Truman tried to buy Greenland for $100 million. Now, $100 million in 1917...
that's, like, not that much.
$100 million in 1917 is about $2.2 billion today.
Oh,
so
that's
steal.
So Trump,
veritable steal.
It is kind of a steal.
It is. It really is. Honestly,
$2.2 billion for Greenland.
Greenland's huge.
Yeah.
And he was just gonna build like the biggest Trump golf resort of all time. That's all that would have.
2 billion holes. It covers the whole
2 billion
country.
holes.
There's
we're playing the back billion today.
Yeah, there's like he extended artificial islands off of Greenland to continue his
to
holes.
continue. Yeah, he built it up into the Arctic. It just you have to bundle up further and further every hole
you have
get.
to dig out your hole.
Yeah.
For 20 years, the Chinese government has been pouring concrete into the ocean to build more land. Plastic.
Is that true? Is that true?
It is.
That's crazy.
Plastic is such a stronger material. Hey, okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever stepped on concrete barefoot?
Yes.
I have, actually.
Doesn't even hurt. Doesn't even hurt. You could crush that shit under your foot. You ever step on a Lego barefoot?
Oh, yeah.
Don't even.
I mean, come on.
You're right.
Can I make a more salient argument?
You don't have to say any more after that argument. You don't have to say a single fucking thing.
I'd prefer you didn't, actually.
Yeah, would you shut the fuck up about the plastic, actually? No.
Well, maybe not quite yet, because didn't we have another round of Ask Robert that we wanted to get to tonight?
Yeah, we do.
So,
welcome back to r/Ask Robert, one of the prevailing subreddits, currently in the market right now. I do have some choice questions I went through before the podcast and actually picked a couple I think they're gonna be good. I don't really know what order to go in, honestly. So I'm gonna try to figure out what the most
hardest hitting.
The most what's the most plastic order I could give us?
What the fuck?
On a scale from 1 to plastic, how? Let's rank these questions.
Oh my god.
Let's see. So yeah, I got a couple good ones. I think it should elicit some interesting conversation. Our first r/Ask Robert. What animal would be the worst to be locked in a cage with?
How big is the cage?
Yeah.
It would fit you and whatever animal, If it's an elephant, it would fit both of you.
But
my number one thought is that I just think a tiger would just tear you apart fastest and be the scariest because of how aggressive they are.
That's
also,
a story in the Bible.
Do that thing that a lot of animals do, including like kangaroos, where they, and you've seen it with your house cat, guaranteed, Rob. Every cat, they just instinctually do it. They grip something with their front claws,
and then they drag.
The reason they kick with their back feet is to disembowel. That's what that is. So a tiger with its claws longer than my fingers, disemboweling me very quickly would be the scariest thing of all time.
I would probably agree.
That would be a definite
of a
issue.
cat.
I think Jacob froze.
Okay, I saw that and I was wondering what the hell. I thought that was just on my screen. Jacob, I think, is in deep contemplation.
How about now?
yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Stuck like that. I wonder if he can hear us right now.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. You're back.
Yeah, no, I didn't. You guys didn't freeze it all for me. That's
weird.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I would probably say one of the big cats.
Yeah. That's fucking scary.
Anything bigger than me, really. Hippos are fucking nasty as well.
Oh yeah.
Probably not an elephant, because I remember reading an article somewhere that elephants, like, the same like signal that triggers in our brain when we see like a cute puppy, like, oh my god, what a cute puppy. Apparently elephants have that exact same reaction when looking at us. So I wouldn't be too scared.
That's
awesome.
So funny that like elephants look at us and they're like, "Oh, look at this adorable little thing." It doesn't even understand.
Fuck. It's just me there, like, hi.
An elephant probably wouldn't be too scared, but like anything bigger than me or like anything carnivorous, I guess, just in general. Unless it's like a shark or something and we're on land, and then I could just be like, you fucking dumbass. You can't even breathe right now.
Yeah, any sea animals would just, like, flounder. And a shark might get you, though. Because a shark might, like,
and wiggling,
flop around and, like, catch you in its mouth.
Flop around and find out.
Be like, I'm taking you with me. Yeah, flop around and find out. Jesus Christ. My instant thought was tiger as well. I think that, like, you know, the prospect of being in a cage with a tiger, like, my first thought was like, maybe a tiger would recognize that you're both, like, trapped in a cage, you know, that you're allies in some sense. But then I was like, no, it's just gonna eat the shit out of you.
Oh,
like,
actually, you know what? Chimps too. Especially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so before you, like, get there, my second thought was Joe Rogan is the scariest animal to be trapped in a cage.
No, I thought
with.
you were gonna say Joe Rogan talking about chimps.
Yeah, no.
Brought that thought to you, but
He is a
Joe
chimp.
Rogan
Like, he's a fucking chimp.
He's gonna like he's gonna
Theories.
on his podcast one day. He's gonna like go to adjust the mic, and it's gonna like bump his face, and his mask will shift over to reveal like chimp hair underneath, and he's gonna go, "Oh, sorry," and like adjust really quick, and it'll be over.
He's gonna like oscillate between front kicking you and telling you jokes about trans rights, like, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be horrible. I think you're right. Joe Rogan is the scariest
Yeah,
animal to be locked up with.
for sure.
Alrighty.
I agree with that.
All right.
It's a shame that we couldn't get Joe Exotic on the podcast earlier, because we could have talked to him about his thoughts on tigers. I don't think he'd be too scared of tigers in that situation.
I called him up because I had one more canned product to get in, but he's not available.
Not available,
You know,
no.
he's dealing with Carol Baskin and shit like that. But
Damn.
you know, next time.
Canned tiger testosterone, like,
That's what it was.
it's just like this, like, gray goop that, like, just slowly, like, slides out of the can, like,
It's like that episode
much like
of,
Spam.
It's like that episode of SpongeBob where the Krusty Krab gets bought out, and all the Krabby Patties are just like slugs that are painted, and then you bite
Exactly.
it, and it's like clay. That's what it looks like.
Yuck.
Alrighty, so the next r/ask Robert. Now, for this next question, there's like a not really a caveat, but the next question is, what red flag do you regret ignoring? And this could be a red flag, not necessarily in like a relationship or with people. It could be any red flag that you have experienced where you absolutely ignored it, and it was a mistake to ignore it.
I have one immediately, and in no way is it funny. It's like maybe the most serious thing that ever happened to me, and is going to happen to me for the rest of my life, unfortunately. But like, I have PVD in both my eyes. It means my eyes are like the Vitracil gel in them is liquefying, and eventually I'm gonna have some serious eye problems. And I remember the first sign I got of them was when I would close my eyes and open them back up for like half a second, I would see black spots all over my vision. And I remember thinking, oh, that's really weird. And I let it go for like 4 or 5 days, and it just started getting more and more prevalent. And I finally just called up an eye doctor and told them what was going on. And they said, you need to come in immediately. Like, we might have to put you in surgery like right now.
You need more plastics in your diet.
That's literally, they were like, we're gonna insert plastic in your eyes. We're gonna
plug those black holes right up with some plastic.
That's what they said. They said
you know what?
Plastic.
You know what doesn't get what is it? VPD?
A PVD.
PVD. You know what doesn't get PVD? Logitech webcams.
Exactly.
Yes, which was an option on the
Part
table.
of our-
We can replace your eyes with two
Logitech
webcams.
It wasn't like a solid, like, you know, like they weren't even sure about it. We were like spitballing ideas as to if my eyes go bad. They were like, oh, you know, cameras are kind of like eyes. What have you thought about Logitech? And I said, I don't fucking know. You should know.
Are you a Logitech guy or a Microsoft guy? Like, what kind of webcam do you prefer?
And then they were like, "What type of phone do you have?" That's just like a separate question, but like I'm more of an iPhone person. And I said, "No, I got the Samsung."
And they were like, okay, and they just shoved 2 Samsungs into your skull.
Into my eyes, and I said, "Well, they're not that bad yet."
They're like, listen, anybody who has a Samsung will be able to see as well as you are seeing, but if you try to like integrate it with an iPhone user, it's going to be all blurry and pixelated.
Yeah, that's. This is what we were getting. This was the conversation on the table, but that was like the thing. Apparently, I should have gone right away. Thank God I didn't need surgery, and like, but it was just one of those things where I don't know. You hear about people in older generations talk about it, where it's like there's an obvious problem, and they're like, "I'll let it go," and then they let it go too long, and they find out it's like something insanely serious. I just happen to be somewhat lucky. Like, there's no reason exactly.
My grandfather lived from the age of 75 to 92 with like 5 different types of cancer. And he just didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's just that generation. And, my dad last year, he went to the doctor because he was having some problems. He like lost all this weight. They were like, "Dude, you had a heart attack within the last year," and he was like, "Oh, I didn't fucking
Jesus
know." Like,
Christ.
they did all these tests, and they're like, there's significant damage here.
They're like, "You're Miami Beach ready, but at what cost?" Right? Like,
you have a hot bod, but your heart is
Your
in pain here.
is not working right.
What about you, Jacob? What was the red flag you got?
One immediately comes to mind, but I'll save it for another day. The other one that came to mind was I might have told it on the podcast before, but there was an instance where I would sometimes do freelance videography to make some extra money, and I was recording a wedding for a family friend just for free out of the goodness of my heart, and their DJ approached me and was like, "Hey, I've been looking to like partner with like local like people who like also do weddings, like make like a little network so I can like refer people, like maybe we can do something together, like you give me your business card, I give you mine, stuff like that." And then
that's entrepreneurship right there. Handing out business cards.
I went with him, and then I ended up working with him on one wedding that he was DJing at, where he specifically was like, "Hey, the couple who are getting married already have a videographer, but I really want to make like a promo for my DJ services. Would you be able to like come to this wedding and like record some of the wedding and like record me DJing so we can cut together a promo for like my business or whatever. This is the rate that I'll pay you." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." And I was like, this was maybe my like second time like doing like work for anyone that wasn't a family friend. So I show up for not the wedding, just the reception, obviously. I recorded with him for like 4, maybe 5 hours or so, and then at the end of the night, I forget what the rate we agreed upon was, but I was like, "Hey, so where's my money?" And he was like, "Oh, I left your checkbook back at the office."
What the fuck?
He's like, "Just give me your address and I'll mail it to you." And I was like, "Okay," and I gave him my address, and then weeks went by, never got anything. Anytime I would try and talk to him, I didn't hear anything. But it was backwards because I told him, I was like, "Well, I'm not going to give you the finished copy of this thing until you pay me." And then he just ghosted me. So like his plan didn't even work. Like I don't get like what
like,
he was.
Fuck,
yeah.
I don't even know. Like, what was all this for, man? I
don't understand business. I've been trying to understand
took
business.
a class on grifting and this whole thing. I fucked up.
In hindsight, I like one of the first freelance jobs I did, so I wasn't privy to like how things are supposed to go. But there were definitely a lot of like the way he behaved and like a lot of the things he said should have made me be like, okay, I'm not getting paid for for this work that I'm doing for you right now.
Right. Yeah.
But I did, like, through a long and convoluted story, I did actually end up getting paid by him, like, 2-3 years after the fact, which was really like,
he's like, I've tried this scam with so many people and it just hasn't worked.
It was basically he posted something on Facebook about, like, oh, liberals just want handouts, they don't believe in actually working, and I was like, yeah, and then I commented something like, you know, unlike the Republicans who will scam children out of free labor. And like you, and then
you slammed him,
and then but this that was on, like, I don't remember if that was his, like, professional or personal Instagram, but then he reached out to me later and was like, hey, I'll pay you if you take that comment down. And then he ended up,
Jacob, I remember this.
I did tell this on the podcast. Yeah, I did. Okay, so then,
oh my god, I remember this fucking story. I remember you telling me this a while ago. Dude,
it's on one of the early episodes. Justice. Yeah, it was. Well,
he's like, I can't be bothered to just delete my Facebook post because it was so
good,
poignant and yeah, like
it was a lie. It wasn't who I was at all. But
I completely forgot I told that on the podcast. But yeah, no, I
don't even know if you did. You told
I think I did
though, at some point.
I think it was
I
on
remember
an episode. Yeah,
story.
But I'm not repeating myself too much. He basically, like, he was like, well, how much do I owe you? And I told him how much. He Venmo'd me the money. I sent him the promo, and then he was like, okay, can you take that comment down? And then I just blocked him.
Love it. Love that shit. I love that so much.
Oh, that is so good.
So I should have noticed all those red flags, but I think he definitely got what was coming to him at the end of the day. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to give him any more credit than he deserves, which is low.
Yeah, you already fucked him up pretty good, I guess. But I mean, it would be funny if you.
You massacred him. Yeah. You took like a machete. You took a machete to his fucking head for real. Like that shit's so dope.
You removed all the plastic out of his body.
Right, took all the plastic out of his system.
Like,
no,
think about how much
like
plastic
that
he could have bought with that, like $200.
It's that scene in X2 where Ian McKellen, like, takes the iron out of the prison guard's blood and then uses it to escape.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, there's too much plastic in your blood.
That scene scared the shit out of me.
It still makes me uncomfortable watching that. But, yeah.
Do you have a red flag?
I spoke about it a little bit during last week's Ask Robert segment.
I know what this is, I think.
So I dated a girl who was like an adult Disney fan, and her parents were adult Disney fans, and I've talked about this a few times on the podcast. They like forced me to watch Song of the South with them because one night we were talking about old movies that are good, and I have like a taste in movies where I was like, Casablanca, The African Queen, Godfather, whatever, like naming like legit old good movies, right? And they're like, Song of the South is the movie, and I was thinking about it today actually because I re-listened to our last episode, and there was a moment in Song of the South with the Jim Crows, the like 3 crows, and I remember just like laughing my fucking ass off when the Jim Crows came into frame because it was just like, this is so racist and out of touch and awful.
They're like, quiet, this is very serious.
Dude, and the whole time we're watching this movie, I'm like audibly laughing at this shit, and they are like looking back over their shoulder at me to see like what I'm reacting to, and the Jim Crows come on, and they paused the movie to try to explain to me the nuance of the Jim Crows.
See, it's funny because Jim Crow was a thing back in the day.
Exactly. So the whole thing.
This whole family, we're with that thing.
The whole thing was a red flag in and of itself, but that moment specifically of them being like, no, you don't get it. Jim Crow's is a very funny joke, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think a huge red flag is the fact that like Rob is like playing with the pin of on a grenade.
Holding a fucking hand grenade.
What is? Yeah. I just fucking noticed.
I'm unhinged. It's all going down tonight, baby.
Jesus Christ! I hate to be this guy, but we are getting to that time. Do we want to do one more? I'm sorry. I
got one more.
No, yeah, let's do another Ask Robert.
I got one more because I have a good one for myself for this question.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't like being that guy.
No, you're good. So here's our last r/ask Robert for the night. When did you say exactly the right thing at exactly the right time? And I want to say I have another question in the group that I could maybe tie into this, which is, what is the harshest insult/slam you have ever heard or you have doled out to someone? You know.
Well, I think I just told the story of that second one in the last.
Yeah, you killed it. I mean, you fucking massacred that dude.
So awesome.
I don't. Yeah, Jake, you go. I gotta think on it for a second.
One thing that comes to mind immediately is when I was probably 13 years old, and for a little context, my dad was dating this woman who was borderline abusive to me in ways I don't want to get into. Nothing like she sexually abused me. I guess the only way is I was a chubby kid, and when I would go and stay with my dad for the weekends, she like really wouldn't let me eat. It was really fucked up, to be honest.
Jesus.
Yeah, and thank God he stopped dating her. It was this whole fucking crazy thing. It's not normal by any means. I'm not trying to be like, yeah, that's just how it goes.
That's why he lost all the weight.
Yeah, that's
it wasn't a stroke. It was that dumb bitch.
Yeah, but so, and I hated her, and it was like this kind of relationship where it was just like, weekend is gonna be hell. And one weekend, we went up to my dad has a cabin in the Poconos, and my dad's girlfriend had a daughter who was like, 21, and she had all these guy friends who were friends with her boyfriend or whatever, and they all came up with us one time. We were watching the movie Misery, and it was my first time ever seeing Misery, and at the end of Misery, how it kind of closes off, spoiler alert, is that the main character, he eventually kind of escapes from being held captive by killing, the person who was holding him captive with a typewriter. He like bashes her over the head. There's a scene where she's like, dead on her back with like, she's just like looking straight up and she's dead. And the main character lays back right next to her. And I said something right then and there as a 13-year-old. I said, "Oh man, that was amazing." Like as if they just had sex. Like I was speaking for the guy. I said, "Oh, that was amazing." And I made all of the adults laugh, including this shitty woman who hated me. It was like normally I've always felt like with her around, I couldn't say anything. And it was like the one time I said something and everyone laughed that she was like, I can't deny that. That was
yeah. So she like brought out a cake for you to dig into.
She like had a baseball bat cocked back, ready to hit me in the head, and then she was like, "All right, I'll put that." No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
It's funny that you mentioned a birthday cake, Rob, because the book Misery is so like much more fucked up than the movie. Like in the movie the where she like breaks his ankles with the sledgehammer and a thing of wood. In the book, she just straight up cuts off one of his feet and then cauterizes it with a blowtorch.
Yeah, I heard that recently.
There's a chapter in the book where like he's complaining because they kind of gloss over it in the movie, but like the typewriter is like missing some letters, and you see him like going back and like filling in the letters that aren't on there. In the book, he complains because like every other chapter, it like loses a letter, and it's more stuff that he has to like go in and like write later. And he like snaps at her and is like, "If you're gonna make me do this, at least give me a good fucking typewriter or some shit." And she's just very calmly like, "Okay, I'll do that for you." And then like like a little bit time goes by, she knocks him out, and he wakes up, and it like just so happens to be like his birthday, and she knows that as like his number one fan, like that he's imprisoned with her on his birthday, and she presents him a cake. And he, like, one of the candles looks weird, and he looks down, and she's, like, cut off his thumb and, like, stuck it in the cake as a candle and makes him blow it out. The book is so fucked up. It's so...
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Damn.
She runs the police
that's
officer,
truly wild.
the police officer who, like, comes to rescue him at the end, and she just shoots him with a shotgun. In the movie, she, like, beats him over the head with, like a gardening hoe or something, and then walks away. And then as he's like crawling to like try and get out of there, she runs him over with like a lawnmower, like one of those like sit-on like lawnmowers. It's
Whoa.
so
Good Lord.
Yeah, the book Misery goes fucking
And
hard.
he's still twitching, so she drops a nuke on him.
Drops a nuke on him. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah.
I heard that. I was listening to a podcast. I know you're not a big fan of him, Rob, but Paul Russ has a podcast with Matt Gorley called With Gorley and Russ, and they do horror movies, and they talked about that.
Yeah.
The whole foot getting cut off scene as opposed to the movie where she...
I always think
forget the actual act of what it's called.
Hobbling.
When you... Hobbling, that's what it is, yeah.
It's funny because it's like flip-flopped. In the movie The Shining, Jack Nicholson has an axe and is like cutting through doors, and in Misery she has the sledgehammer she hits his feet with. But in the book Misery, she uses an axe, and in the book The Shining he has like one of those like metal like croquet mallets, and he's like bashing doors down with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just find that funny. It's like
okay.
a weird flip, but actually that kind of works because the thing that I was gonna say, the thing that I said at the right time is how it connects is that my girlfriend and I are big fans of Stephen King, and like that was one of the things we kind of like bonded over initially, was like talking about like horror movies and books and whatnot. And I met her at a time in my life where like I was like, really like down on myself, and I like my self-confidence was so low. I just had a really bad breakup. And I just felt good spending time with her. We had been talking for like a month or two at that point, and I don't know how we came to like talking about it, but we were talking about like places to go and things to do, and I mentioned, oh yeah, I love to go to Jim Thorpe, it's such a nice little town, there's a bunch of stuff to do, and she's like, oh well, I've never been, and I was like, oh, I'll take you sometime, let's go do that. So then one day I picked her up. We drove to Jim Thorpe. We got some coffee. Went to a bookshop. Toured like the old jail museum that's supposedly haunted, and she's like big into like ghost stories and stuff. And then like it was getting time to go. The sun was going down. Like it wasn't like super romantic. It was like an overcast day or whatever. But we were like
sitting, got shit in the bushes.
We were
wasn't
sitting,
very romantic at all.
We were sitting on a bench that's like kind of in like the town square near like the train that they do like tours and stuff on, and we just kind of were like, oh man, yeah, today was a good day. And I don't remember verbatim what I said, but it was something to the effect of because we weren't official at that point. We just had gone on some dates, and we knew we enjoyed spending time with one another. And I said something to the effect of, okay, so I'm gonna really regret not saying this now, but now that we have had this amazing day, and you're an hour away from home at my mercy, will you be my girlfriend?
That's pretty good.
And she got a good laugh out of that, and she was like, yes, I will be your girlfriend.
There you go. That was, yeah.
That's yeah. I wish I could remember exactly how I worded it, but it was very much so. I'm not locked in here with you. You're trapped in Jim.
You're locked in here with me. Yeah.
And then when I dropped her off like later that evening before she got out of the car, I was like, okay, so just so we're clear, now that you do have an out, do you still want to be my girlfriend?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Rob,
do you have a right time?
I have just like I don't think I'll ever have a greater moment of not only saying the right thing at the right time, but also like slamming the fuck out of someone. So around the time when the George Floyd stuff happened, and there was the protests, and there was a lot of talk about like abolishing the police. That was like the big thing, was like abolishing police forces and trying to just get rid of this like broken system that for a long time has been doing a lot of bad shit, right? And I was on Xbox with a couple of my buddies, and we were playing like Apex Legends, and the kind of group of people where it's like we'll just kind of talk about news and different stuff like that with each other, and like hot takes will come out. And our one buddy who we were playing with has such a I call it like most interesting man in the room syndrome, where like no matter what the topic is, he like has to have. Yeah, he's got to have a take on it, but it's coupled with the fact that he's like a very kind of like dull centrist politically, and plays it very safe, right?
Yeah.
Which like it's one thing if you're like yeah, right? Like here's the thing. I suffer from that syndrome a little bit myself, but I use that and I rant about microplastics for fucking 30 minutes, okay? Like, I try to do interesting stuff with that.
It's a layer of irony that takes a little getting used to there, but yeah, like, if you don't know, then you think
he's
Rob
unironic
about
with it. Like,
microplastics.
He's unironic with it. Like he wants to be the most interesting man in the room with the take that everyone's like, oh, that's so enlightening. And
what he said over there, yeah, I did. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it made me come when he said that thing. I came in my pants. Like that's what he wants.
Scene in The Matrix Reloaded. I understand.
Yeah, like he thinks he's like shooting 3-pointers with red pills into people's mouth, okay? But he's actually just like doing layups with blue pills, right? It's like unimpressive and it's counterproductive. But yeah, so
way to put it.
we're talking about like all the ACAB stuff and like abolishing the police, and I had a very like harsh stance on like we should just go back to a time when everyone carried guns and we policed ourselves. Like, I was like getting a little crazy with it. And he comes in trying to undercut me with like a very like soft take, and he says the words, "Oh, well, I just think that as a society, we should never try to abolish anything, and we should only reform it."
Oh boy!
And like clockwork in my head, like the spring in an atom bomb, like triggering a nuclear explosion. I just blast back, and I'm like, "So slavery? You think we should have reformed slavery? Is what you're telling me right now?"
How does he not even like abolish when the word is used?
Dude, I couldn't.
That goes with that one.
I couldn't believe it.
Did you just see the hamster wheel spinning for a second, or how did he like?
It was the director's choice.
It was right away. It was like the way that like professional athletes, like Olympic athletes, train so hard that what they do in their sport, in their competition, they don't have to think about it. It's all fluid. It comes out of them without having to do any calculations. Yeah. That's how I was in a flow state, like Joe Rogan. I was in a total flow state.
Well, I'm saying, how did he react to you being in the flow state?
Oh, yeah. He left, and he didn't play Xbox with us for a month. He did not log on to his Xbox at all. We have a group chat between the three of us, and we would text each other, me and my other buddy, my other buddy, like, hollered. He started screaming when I said it. And, yeah, we would, like, text each other in this group chat being like, hey, let's all three of us get online. No responses from this third dude. He just couldn't comprehend it. And later down the road, like, you know, kind of got back to normal. He started like getting involved again. But the political chat was very hard to have.
Maybe they forgot about that whole thing.
Here's the thing. He really avoided the political chat very hard because I had like put the fear of God in him for real. Like I have to imagine that like anytime politics comes up around me, he has this like flight or fight moment where he's like, Rob could just fucking massacre me, right? Like Rob could hit me with a machete in my Achilles tendon right now. And so after a while, I think the funniest part about this is like he started getting back involved in the political chat, and I don't want to go into too many specifics, but it came out that he had started fielding all the political discussion over text to his girlfriend. Now wife.
As in to be like
as to be like,
is this crazy what I'm saying?
As to be like, no. As to be like, here's what Rob just said. What do I say in response to this?
Oh my God.
I love
this.
That.
This is like one of those things. I'm glad you did what you did because it really like more people need to get put in their place.
Yeah.
When it comes to, you know, when you're talking your shit and you don't know, and you don't know
Dude,
like,
yeah.
what you're talking about, just say you don't know what the fuck you're talking about or don't say it. Like,
yeah.
I've been in that guy's shoes, not on a political issue like that. I feel like, and even with politics, sometimes I do run my mouth where I shouldn't, and I should get owned for that, for sure. But I'm like, you know, I'm putting myself out there to get owned. Oh my God, yeah. Like, you just gotta be better with this shit, people.
I've been checked before. I've never been checked like that by someone. Like, I've said, like you, I can admit, I've said some off the cuff shit that someone should have stepped in and checked me on, but I've never gone so far out of pocket, like, on something and just gotten owned. And again, I was actually talking to that, I was hanging out with that other buddy of mine recently, and it came up, and we were both just kind of like, man, what a magical moment to have been part of. Like, I don't even need the credit of having checked him or, like, slammed him. It's like, even as a fly on the wall, like, I wish I had it recorded because it was so magical for everybody involved.
It's like, did he just throw up that ball for me to fucking slam dunk that shit or
Dude,
what? Like,
so it was so nuts.
Damn, that's amazing. God damn.
I think this has been another episode of the Buttery Males podcast.
It has.
Yeah,
it has. Most definitely. Crazy.
I think one of our most unhinged episodes we've done in a long time.
For sure, yeah. A wild episode.
Sometimes you gotta get pushed to the edge to establish a new edge.
Sometimes you have to go over the edge to realize there's another edge beneath it.
Oh man, what do we got for plugs, guys?
Watch this podcast. Check it out. All the same places you listen to this. I don't think any of us know dates yet, but I think we're all going to be guests on the Bottle of Bitches podcast at some point.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear back. But...
I'm recording my episode this coming Friday,
nice.
Friday the 13th, actually. So, yeah.
Except for Jason.
Yeah, well, I'll keep an eye out for him. But yeah, that'll be a fun time. So anyone who's interested, check their podcast out. Listen to our episode we did with them. It was a fun time. Yeah, that's all that I got.
Oh yeah. I guess follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Buttery Males Pod or Buttery Males Pod. You'll find it that way.
Make sure to rate us 5 stars on Spotify, and as always, tell your friends about us. If you like this episode or any other episode you've listened to that really like stuck out to you, especially like if you listen to one of our episodes all the way through to the plug section, share that shit, okay?
Please.
For real. It like I feel like all podcasts, there are episodes where, you know, we might start off strong and then, you know, peter out by the end and not everyone makes it to the plug section. But if you made it to the plug section, send this episode to someone you know. Send it to one of your friends. You don't have to fucking. We're not asking you to be a door-to-door sales rep for us. You don't need to like type up a fucking white paper about why you should listen, but send it out there, see what they think, and you know, we really appreciate anybody who's listening to us. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys.
And, I guess that's that. Have a good
It's
whatever
over.
time you're listening.
Go home.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
Hey, you're free.
over.
You're free now. You can go do anything you want. Why don't you go learn a skill? Why don't you go buy some plastic from the local dump? They're selling it at the bottom dollar prices, baby. It's a fire sale of microplastics.
Wow. Heard it here first, folks. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah.